And there are bombshell developments happening at this moment on Capitol Hill. House Republicans demanding unredacted records from the National Archives, which they allege uncover President Biden's role in his son Hunter's foreign business dealings. Today's news and newsmakers. It all starts right now. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Newsline. I'm Bianca De La Garza. Great to see you. And we begin with that major development in the House Oversight Committee's investigation into the Biden family business dealings. Chairman James Comer demanding that the National Archives hand over unredacted emails from then Vice President Biden using a pseudonym and copying in at times only his son Hunter. This is one of several new questions coming in today in this letter requested from James Comer. Comer's request covering records using Joe Biden's other known pseudonyms, Robert Peters, Robin Ware, and J.R.B. Ware, and any document or correspondence involving Hunter Biden and his former business associates. Let's get you right out to Kilmeny Ducart, working this story for us now on Capitol Hill. Kilmeny, several pseudonyms, as we just say in Comer's letter, and there's also a deadline he put on this.
Yeah, Bianca, good to be with you. You and I have watched this investigation snowball. We've reported on those bank records that were released, revealing payments that were made to Hunter Biden by foreign nationals. We've covered that testimony to members on the House Oversight Committee, detailing meetings that then Vice President Joe Biden had with his son's business associates. Now what the committee is focusing in on, what they want to complete the puzzle, is again to know whether this was an exchange or promised for influence, policy, or favors in exchange again for these payments, whether that was part of those deals. Chairman Comer, of course, releasing a statement saying we've already have evidence of then Vice President Biden speaking, dining, and having coffee with his son's foreign business associates. We also know that Hunter Biden and his associates were informed of then Vice President Biden's official government duties in countries where they had a financial interest. The National Archives must provide these unredacted records to further our investigation into the Biden family's corruption. Now, here's what they're specifically requesting from the National Archives. He says attached to this email and made available on the NARA website is a document that indicates at 9 a.m. on May 27, 2016, Vice President Biden took a call with the president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. It is concerning to the committee, however, that this document was sent to Robert L. Peters, a pseudonym the committee has identified as then Vice President Biden. Additionally, the committee questions why the then Vice President's son, Hunter Biden, and only Hunter Biden, was copied on this email to then Vice President Biden. Bianca, the committee is also specifically requesting documents where Hunter Biden is named, his business associates, Eric Schwerin, as well as Devin Archer, who testified a few weeks ago, with the overarching goal. It says that the committee is concerned with foreign access, whether that's been sold and whether that would place national security at risk.
Kilmeny Ducart, live on Capitol Hill. Obviously, a huge development, a stunning one indeed. We know you'll continue to watch this very closely for us. Thank you. And let's bring in now Florida former Attorney General Pam Bondi for reaction. Pam, always great to have you in. Wow. So Comer's letter lays it out pretty clearly. He's saying NARA published emails, but they were redacted. But, and he writes in one of them, it's concerning, he says to the committee, that a document was sent to Robert L. Peters, a pseudonym that the committee has identified as then Vice President Biden. And there's other ones Comer names, Robert Peters, Robin Ware, this Ware. Why would VP Biden need pseudonyms? And why would there be emails that are only copying his son, Hunter?
Yeah, first, Bianca, what you said is right. Wow. And of course, he would only need pseudonyms if they're attempting to cover this up, which they were. And if you remember, I represented President Trump in impeachment round 1 when they went after him for just questioning Hunter Biden's involvement in Burisma. None of that material, none of that was provided to any of us at that time. We didn't have any of these materials. They were trying to cover everything up. So it's truly unbelievable. Thank goodness for James Comer. Thank goodness for Kevin McCarthy, for Matt Gaetz, for Jim Jordan, for the members of Congress for uncovering this. And they're going to be relentless. So they better look out. But they don't have behind them the Department of Justice. And that's what's so hard when you have Biden in the White House.
Yeah, and I was looking at the letter here, and Nara was obviously involved with former President Trump with the documents and what was going on back and forth. It seems like if Nara is deliberately, according to Comer, redacting certain things, what does that lead you to believe in your expertise here? They say the DOJ is obviously, covering up, they believe, and doing things that are protecting Biden. Is Nara now being pulled into this with Jamie Comer's letter?
Well, they're definitely being pulled into it, as they should, because those documents are in their possession. And as you just pointed out, they're the ones that not started, but are continuing going after President Trump with the documents at Mar-a-Lago. So the hypocrisy is just beyond me. It always has been. NARA is supposed to be objective, nonpartisan. They just store and keep documents. But if they're covering it up, I think a lot of people there are going to be in big trouble. But we'll see. We'll see what they knew, how long they've known it, thanks to Jim Comer and that committee. But they're going to go after them with everything they got, and they must. Our country needs to know what's going on. We have to know. And, thank goodness for Newsmax and only the conservative outlets for covering this. It's a shame. This should be top of every single news channel, shouldn't it, Bianca?
You would think so. I mean, it's in Americans' best interest to get to the bottom of this for transparency and truth. The date on this letter, August 31st. So we'll see what NARA does. We'll put that aside for a moment. But we did talk to James Comer here on Newsmax last night. Here's what he said regarding the special counsel, David Weiss, and where things stand there.
We want to have a case that will win in court. I mean, I could be doing stunts every second and getting a bunch of retweets and probably raising money online and all that. But at the end of the day, we would lose. And that's what Republicans have been doing for years. They've been losing. We're trying a different strategy on this. We're getting information. We're doing it the right way. And I believe that's why you saw Merrick Garland appoint a special counsel when he said he wasn't going to, because we have built a case that will win in court.
Seems significant there that he's talking about legal action. Pam, what's your read?
Well, that's right. And that's why they're keeping this alive with congressional hearings. They're bringing this to light on live TV, where the media has to cover it to some extent. The American people are learning what's happening. And that's exactly what James Comer is doing. And that's what he said. He could just be out there talking about it. But they're holding hearings. They're holding NARA accountable. And they're going to hold the Justice Department accountable, because Merrick Garland's going to have a lot to answer for if he's had these documents, if he's known of their possession and done nothing about it.
Finally, Pam, I want to ask you if you're concerned when it comes to these indictments and the fact that, especially in Georgia, there's these co-conspirators. We see Jack Smith, Fani Willis. They're going after attorneys who were working on novel theories. They pierced the veil of attorney-client privilege with Evan Corcoran. Some say whether you like Trump, hate Trump, it doesn't matter. These are dangerous moves and precedents that open doors for more weaponization and more stretching of statutes.
They've thrown the attorney-client privilege out of the window. Every criminal defendant, every lawyer should be concerned in this country. You're right. Every attorney should be supporting what's happening to President Trump, backing him up on this. And that's what Fani Willis is trying to do. Exactly what happened to Evan Corcoran. They got his notes. They got privileged communications. None of that should have ever been made public. And that's why they charged 19 people in this case, not only President Trump and Mark Meadows, but all this whole litany of attorneys who were working with Donald Trump. I firmly believe the case for President Trump and Mark Meadows at least should be removed to federal court. I would think all the defendants would go with it. Yet to be seen.
And that's the filing.
Yeah, these charges should have never been filed, period, but especially in state court. Fani Willis is way over her head.
Pam Bondi, good to have you in. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.